Topic this week is cognitive bias, specifically confirmation bias, and what to do about it. And if you've been watching the news over the past week, and I laugh because it's really past 4 years, you've actually seen confirmation bias not only uh, prevalent, but actually growing in its pervasiveness, which raises cause for concern. At a very basic level, when asked what separates humans from the apes, it's our ability to reason. Now, where I get concerned is where we are in groups, and we talk about groupthink, and we can certainly discuss that in a later episode. But even when we're alone and in small uh, units, whether they be families or teams, it is the case where we have narratives that look to be confirmed. In other words, we want to be right. It provides a level of comfort, a level of certainty for us as individuals. It goes back, it's a survival mechanism rooted in the physiology of our brain. At the same time, we have to have metacognition where we understand that we are thinking, and we have to understand the risks of confirmation bias and looking for what's easy and understandable, and challenge ourselves to think differently. Now, this has been a catchphrase by Apple and IBM and others. Fantastic. It's immensely appropriate. Why isn't it happening more prevalently? And why, frankly, arguably, are we going in the other direction as a society and in many organizations, particularly at leadership levels? You may have seen the lack of diversity among the bank executives last month in a variety of forums, actually, when we're dealing with this economic crisis that has resulted in the wake of the pandemic. So this notion of confirmation bias has been really brought to light in the Axios interview 6 or 7 days ago. And I'm not going to get political right now. I do, however, encourage you to watch it through this lens because leaders are in high stress situations, and they have placed their bets in certain areas, and they want those bets to work out. When I say bets, I'm talking about the reality that organizational leaders have scarce resources, and they ultimately have to make decisions, and they allocate those scarce resources in ways that are going to optimize the benefit to your organization, those it serves, and those within it. Hopefully they're optimizing for not only those stakeholder groups, but others as well, namely the communities in which the business operates, the environment, and others. That being said, as I've long shared, there has been an overweighting, particularly here in the United States, towards the shareholder group that owns the company, the financial shareholders. Now, when we get in that situation, when we overweight one stakeholder group over another, the interests of that group are often outweighed by the chief executive and his or her team. And that trickles down throughout an organization. So in this interview, it became very evident that the policies the current administration had put forth, there was the obvious desire to show that they were working and that they were actually working better than others. Frankly, it wasn't true. And for me, given my role as a people analytics leader, a longtime professional in this space, it invited the question, how can we mitigate the risk of this happening in our organizations? After all, I got into this work thinking that if I could put together a data-driven narrative that was so convincing, so compelling, that everyone would just get behind it and we would move forward in a better, lower risk way that would increase the likelihood that our bets, our investments would reap the desired return. Very reasonable, at least I thought. Going back in time and time again, I became frustrated because the insights that I put forth just weren't landing insofar as they did not drive the initiatives that I had hoped. And I had started to ask myself, well, is it because I didn't put the narrative together as well as I should have? Should the images, the infographics have been better? Should I have done more stakeholder relationship management and build a stronger coalition to help facilitate and drive that change? I don't know. Drove myself a bit mad at times. However, over the years since, I have seen many people analytics leaders be frustrated with similar scenarios. Leaders, just don't get it. So where's the gap? In my view, it is around this notion of confirmation bias and other cognitive biases where we have not set the stage for people to open up and be receptive to new ideas. And I ask you this, why are there so many talk show hosts that were born in other countries? Now, talk about a non sequitur. So if you look at Trevor Noah, and I'm going to lose the names of the other individuals who have accents, and many of them are exceptional. And I'm not implying that they got the job because they have accents. What I am going to put out there is that there has been research done, and forgive me for not recalling off the top of my head, but I know she was based in San Diego, who led a research project that actually showed that people are more receptive to people with accents than they are in their native tongue or native accent. Why is that? Because what they're saying, even though it can be identical to what a native person is saying, it accesses what they're saying, and the sound of it accesses an abstract part of the brain. So there's a heightened level of openness to what that individual is saying. So my takeaway, my recommendation is that if you're a people analytics leader, just develop an accent. No, that's not what I'm implying. What I am implying is that we have to create a space for people to truly be open. Ask questions like, what if? What if we did this? By its very nature, that question opens up the mind to possibilities. So at the where I'll land with this, because obviously there's more to share, and my next guest will undoubtedly talk about it, Rish Ashkar of Deeper Signals. It is the case where we have to be aware, we have to set the stage. Don't believe just your insight, as good as it might be, is going to carry the day. We have to set the stage, we have to set the table, and to do so in this remote work environment is increasingly difficult. So more to share and explore on that. Thank you for listening, and we're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Reese.